Hi everyone, my name's Medyhne, and if you don't know who I am, and I come and share creativity and different messages of hope and spirituality. So today I was guided to get up early, even though it's a Saturday morning, and leave a message of hope and inspiration for anyone out there who is finding it really challenging at the moment, or who is just feeling like they're not making a difference. So at the moment we are going in May through a period of time which is known as a death of the ego moment, and a dear friend of mine actually shared a video on this after I also had been feeling myself going through this experience, and she talked about how May is the energy of death of the ego. Elder Ra Rose, she does some wonderful videos. I'll put in a link for her video below. And I was experiencing this even before I knew about her video, but what I was feeling was a feeling of, it's like a negative ego, where it says that it brings up self-worth, it brings up things like, you're not making a difference in the world, you're not doing anything, you're insignificant, your message is not getting out there, you're getting all these inner voices in your head saying these types of things, and it's like a negative ego. And so I felt this energy coming up this month, and I felt that other light workers and healers and people out there who know they have a soul mission to make a difference, but they feel like they're impotent at the minute and that there's nothing really happening. So this is a message for you, that you are super important and that you're really needed at this time, and that this is a natural process that we're all going through in order to have the death of the old three-dimensional ego self, so that we can evolve into something greater. But it does take you through that tunnel where you think that there's no point in me trying to do anything because it's not making a difference. I'm not significant, I'm not important, nothing's happening in my world. And I think also with the lockdown and the quarantine, we're also feeling that as well, because what's happening is we're being forced to be in our own home, in our own environment, where we're forced to go inwards and really look at all the inner stuff that perhaps in the past we've been able to avoid and escape. And so while we're looking inwards at all that stuff, this negative ego comes up, which is all the wounding and the lower dimensional aspects of self, which identify with the ego. And so in order to ascend and to really upgrade our energy and evolve into this fifth dimensional reality that we want to go into, we have to have that death of the ego process. And so a lot of light workers, healers, people that have a soul mission, that know they're here to make a difference, are feeling at the moment like maybe their hands are tied, that they're constricted, that they're not being able to get out there in the same way. So my message to you is that you are making an incredible difference, and that your presence in the world is enough in itself, to make an enormous difference, even without what you're putting into the world, without your input that's going into the world. And I personally had a wonderful reminder from the universe that I am making a difference. And in some ways, yes, I feel I have been. In some ways, no, especially going through this process of this ego death this month. I mean, my YouTube is been going for about, I don't know, 8 months, something like that. And I've put a lot of content on there, a lot of creativity. But basically, it hasn't really been shared all that much. I haven't got many new people joining. It seems to be fairly stagnant. So I've been sort of questioning it and asking myself, oh, is it worth doing these YouTube videos? They're a lot of work. I put in a lot of energy and effort to do them. And yet sometimes I think, oh, well, it's just a waste of time. Nobody's really listening. But then I get inner guidance that says, yes, keep doing these videos. They're really important. They're making a difference. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up is the message. So then I'm guided to keep going. And so that's what's happening there. And I know I've got a show in the US, a radio show that similarly, it is a show that has, it's on the positive health, it's a positive health radio show on their healthylife.net network in America, and it goes to about 1.5 million people, they say. The radio shows go to in a month in that period of time, and it's based in California, but it is actually expanding, because I think, you know, people are at home, so more people listening to the radio, and that there's been some incredible shifts where they have had really high profile people like Congress people wanting to come on board and being on the network. And so the network owner, Linda, was telling me that maybe this could add another 2 million listeners to the mix, which would be 3.5 million listeners a month, which is fantastic. But, you know, as a radio host, you don't get a lot of feedback, because she says, you know, it's just going out there and people are listening, but they're unsung heroes in a sense, because they get listened to, but then they don't get feedback, so they don't really know what's happening. But she says, you know, that's the situation with radio. And so again, you know, you just have to trust that the message you're putting out there is going out into the world and is making a difference, and not to give up, and just to keep persisting. So I think that's a really important message this month, is that often just before big breakthroughs happen, it feels very stagnant. Sometimes things feel heavy. Sometimes things feel, you know, maybe a bit negative, or a bit like there's things are getting worse. You know, it's that saying, the darkest hour is before the dawn. And then that's the moment when the big breakthrough can happen, when you have the big shifts and you make the big enormous leaps forward in terms of evolution. And I feel like that's what's happening at the minute. I don't know how long this period will go for, and sometimes in some ways it feels like it's going to get a bit heavier for a little while before we get the breakthroughs and there's enormous shifts. But it's a message to everyone out there that wants to make a difference in the world. Please, please, please do not give up. Know that you are super important, super empowered, super powerful beings. We are infinite divine beings of light, and that it is a time not to give up, but to persist, to keep going, to trust that you're here for an important reason. You have an important soul mission. It's time for you to do the inner work now, even if you're not externalizing your message as much at the moment in the world. It doesn't matter. The inner work is really important, and just your presence, your being, affects the world in infinite ways as well, just by you holding your light in the world. So I hope that this message resonates for you. And my final exciting thing was, just as I was feeling all this, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, is it really worth the effort? Am I making any difference whatsoever? I get a beautiful message from my one of my spiritual people that I really admire. I really resonate with their message, which is a message of unity consciousness, that we are all one. And I watch him and his partner often, you know, on their videos. And out of the blue on social media, I get a beautiful message from him personally to me, saying that we have a similar message and he'd love to connect. And so this was very empowering for me. And it really was a higher sign for me to not give up, to keep going, to keep putting my message out there, whether I think people are hearing it or not, just to keep doing it. And such a beautiful message from someone that I really resonate with. It's making an enormous difference in the world, and that meant a lot to me. So I hope that this helps you in some way, and I hope you have a really beautiful day, and that you're really able to nurture and honor your special self today. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.